Whoop. My bad. Left the fucking cap on my fucking camera. Um. Anyway, let me make sure my audio's working and shit. Should be. Everything should be okay. All right, cool. We're good. We good. We're live. Let me tweet this shit out real quick. All right, man. We're live. Should be a good night. Got my notes ready to go. Whoop. All right. Yeah, absolutely fins up. We ain't got no picks tonight, but I mean, I guess that could change, obviously. And by the way, if you're not following me on Twitter, I was kind of talking about making a bit of a drinking game out of the draft, which is going to be kind of fun. Every Dolphins pick, I'm going to be taking a shot. That shouldn't matter tonight, but if it does, I got my my Dolphin shot glass ready to go. So it'll be a good time. It'll be a good time. I guess I can talk about the Panthers a little bit. Obviously, I mean, we all know they should be going quarterback at this point. Um, Andy Dalton ain't gonna get it done. I mean, Matt Corral, I mean, honestly, he was my number one quarterback in last year's class, but that was mostly by default. Yeah, tonight's gonna be kind of dry. You ain't lying. Don't the Panthers have another pick tonight? I think they do. They do. Yeah, pick 8. Yeah. I mean, I assume it'll be Bryce Young. I think that's pretty much. That's super loud. Um, I think Bryce Young is the obvious one. I mean, I guess they could go C.J. Stroud, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't really think there's anyone who really thinks that. I know some people are kind of turned off by Bryce Young's size, but I mean, I don't really see it as that big of an issue in today's NFL. I really don't. And also, I think the Panthers should probably help out whichever quarterback they do draft. This offense is looking pretty weak. Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard is a pretty decent 1-2 punch at running back. Could use some depth there. Receivers, okay. Adam Thielen, DJ Shark, Terrence Marshall, Shi Smith, Laviska Shenault. They got Preston Williams. I didn't realize that. Hayden Hurst at tight end is solid. Hakeem Ekwonu is nice at left tackle. But besides that, they could really use a lot of help on the offensive line. They have Lionel Coleman. Okay. Could use quite a bit of help on defense, too. So we'll see. I don't really love the offensive line class a whole lot. I mean, there's some good guys for sure. But I think they run out kind of early, especially tackles. So I think if you're going to get one, you should probably try to get one kind of early. No, I don't have a second first. I read that wrong. I apologize. But either way, I mean, I don't really have too much input on the Dolphins right now, just because I mean we're not going to have a pick tonight. Most likely, I don't think we'll trade up. If any kind of trades happen at all, it'll most likely be for a player. Obviously, Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry are being rumored to go to the Miami Dolphins. That could happen at some point in this draft. We'll see. So, yeah. But yeah, I'll cover the Dolphins draft a lot more tomorrow. Because not only do we not have a pick tonight, but I mean, we're picking kind of late in the second round as well. I mean, pick 51, that's the 20th pick of the second round. So, I mean, it's kind of hard to really say what I would want at this point. Because I have no idea what could be on the board at that point. So, right now, all eyes on the Panthers, which is kind of boring because I think we all know that this is about to be Bryce Young. We've kind of known this for months. So it's not really that much of a shock. I mean, I guess it could be CJ Stroud. And, I mean, they could, I guess, surprise us and go, like, edge rusher and go, you know, Will Anderson or something. But I think they'd be stupid to do that. Unless they really believe in Matt Corral for some reason. Because, you know, Andy Dalton ain't the future. Jacob Eason is ass. But, I mean, we all know they're going quarterback. The Panthers aren't really hiding that fact. We pretty much all know that they're going for Bryce Young. Here comes Commissioner Goodell. Boo. If you're coming in a little bit later, as I mentioned, every Dolphins draft pick throughout this draft process, even though we don't have any picks tonight, I will be taking a shot with my Dolphins shot glass here. So, yeah. Do I watch all the Tampa games? I mean, not all of them. I mean, I watch a lot of them just because I live nearly just outside of Tampa, so I do watch a lot of Bucs games. But I mean, a lot of times they play at the same time as Miami, so. I'll be interested to see what they do tonight, too. Now, I assume that they don't think Baker Mayfield is their future. I mean, they could go quarterback as well if, like, Hendon Hooker or Will Levis are still there. I assume one of them still will be. I definitely don't watch a whole lot of Jacksonville games because I'd have to actively seek them out. I watch a lot of Dolphins, obviously, and then honestly, whatever else is on, to be honest. Sometimes if a particular matchup piques my interest, I'll look for that game specifically, like if the Chiefs and Bills are playing something like that, just because they're two great teams. But beyond that, not really. I got a lot of friends and stuff at work that are fans of different teams, so sometimes I'll tune into them. Like I know so many fucking Patriots fans, and just because AFC East, I end up watching a lot of Patriots film and games. Yeah, Super Bowl champions. That's nice. I hate all the pageantry that the draft brings. Like, I get it. The Chiefs won the Super Bowl. That's fantastic for them. Clap it up for the Chiefs. But the Panthers have the number 1 overall pick. This is their night right now. I don't know. That's just my thought. But shout out to Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce. What if the Panthers just go way out of left field and draft like a corner or something? That ain't gonna happen, obviously, but like Christian Gonzalez or Devon Witherspoon or someone like that. That'd be some crazy shit. Those are good players, don't get me wrong, but it'd be kind of crazy. I mean, in fairness, there's only 4 players that this first pick can be. You know? It's either got to be one of the quarterbacks, it's got to be Will Anderson, or it's got to be Jalen Carter. Those are the only people I can accept. All right, draft. This is open. Panthers about to be on the clock. Cool. Let's get this moving a little bit. We already know who they're going to be picking. They've had the pick for months. They know who they're picking. Let's just move on. Let's just get to the Texans because they're going to take whoever quarterback the Panthers don't take, I would assume. The Cardinals could be interesting too. Cardinals could be very interesting, but I'll get to them after the Panthers make their pick. Like I said, I assume it'll be Bryce Young, and when he does get drafted, I'll give my opinions on him and everything like that. I think he's a solid prospect and everything like that, but I'm not really that concerned about his size like a lot of people seem to be. I think in today's league, I don't really think it matters a whole lot. And if you look at like the injury-prone quarterbacks, it's not the smaller quarterbacks that tend to get injured a lot. It's actually the bigger dudes. Think of guys like Ben Roethlisberger, Cam Newton, the guys that try to out-muscle people and try to extend plays. Those are the guys that get injured more. The smaller guys tend to protect themselves a little bit better. So that's my thought. I don't know why the Panthers are taking so long. I almost think that the pick should be in. Like with the first overall pick, the pick should already be in. I mean, you've had months already to make this decision. So I don't know. Because I don't think they're trading, obviously. They wouldn't trade all the way up just to trade back. But like I said, after they inevitably take a quarterback, most likely Bryce Young, they really need to use the rest of this draft to really support this offense, man. Adam Thielen, they added him. He ain't getting any younger. Miles Sanders is a solid back. Chuba Hubbard behind him is good. DJ Shark, Terrence Marshall. That's not a terrible receiving core. But I think Shi Smith, Laviska Shenault, Damiere Byrd, Preston Williams, I think you can upgrade that 4th receiver spot. Yeah. But size has nothing to do with hitting your head. Ben Roethlisberger had a lot of concussions too. And by the way, in today's league of trying to protect players, I think it should be like commonplace to teach people how to fall. I don't think that's something that Tua should have had to go outside the program to learn. I think that's something that we should be instilling in players, especially in really every position, but like receivers, corners, positions where you're going to have to jump up for the football a lot. You should definitely know how to land. And even punters, like if someone ends up taking your legs out, you should definitely know how to catch yourself. I think that's something that should be ingrained in you from a very young age. I mean, we're changing all the hitting rules and everything like that. Let's teach them to protect themselves a little bit too. Joey Porter will be interesting too tonight. I'm curious to see where he'll end up. I think he can kind of go anywhere in this first round. And cornerback is really interesting too, because every evaluator you talk to seems to have a different, like, top 5. And it's reasonable too. It completely depends on what your team looks for in a corner. Like, if you're a zone coverage team, then I could definitely see why you would have Devon Witherspoon as your number 1 corner. But if you're a man coverage team, I could see that relies on a lot of speed. I could see it being Christian Gonzalez. If you're – and I could see why you might like Joey Porter as well. He's very physical. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But I'm here. I'm here for it with Tua. I mean, I'm not ready to pay Tua yet because not only do I need to see him finish the season, but also I think he needs to finish a season and play consistently throughout that season. Not just, playing in the games, but playing well. Because one thing with Tua is when things start to go bad, and this was the same thing with Mike McDaniel, he had this issue too. They both tended to get a little bit tunnel visioned at the end of the year. Once the offense started to have some struggles, they were still trying to force it down, deep over the middle because that's what was working earlier in the season. They kind of got tunnel vision toward that. And I'm kind of hoping that they can iron that out a little bit. I don't know. So I'm not really ready to pay him yet, but I also think he has shown a lot of signs to want to stick with him for at least another year or two. At least let him play out that 5th-year option. And then we can make a decision at that point. Very accurate quarterback. Very smart most of the time. Like I said, can get tunnel visioned at times. I'm hoping he can kind of fix that. But also, there ain't a whole lot of other quarterbacks in the league that are better than him. There's not like this wellspring of, great quarterbacks. There really isn't. I do think our defense is going to be pretty damn good. I think Vic Fangio is going to have us right, man. I think we had some pretty good pieces last year, and with his leadership, I think it's just going to take it to the next level. Panthers pick is in. It'll be great once this pick is announced because then I can start talking about the Panthers. Most likely how Bryce Young fits into the Panthers, and then I can start talking about the Texans a little bit. And most likely how C.J. Stroud fits into them. Because, I mean, that's most likely what's going to happen. I think everybody's pretty aware of that. But, I mean, Houston does like their D linemen, and Jalen Carter and Will Anderson are there, but all right, man, pick is in. Let's announce it now. I know you got to have the pageantry, but let's get it moving. Let's go. Colts will be interesting too. And I'll tell you, I thought the Colts were going to be scary last year because the year before they were pretty good. Their defense was good. Oh, hang on. Pick is in. Oh, yeah, Bryce Young. Cool. All right. All that waiting just for you to tell me exactly what we all already knew. That's fine. Bryce Young, solid ass player. Um, smaller quarterback, 6 foot, kind of small, 190-ish pounds, just under 200, really. Throws the football very well on the move. Very good at buying time, very elusive. Straight line speed is also pretty solid to him. Some good deep accuracy, but it could be a little bit better in that regard. Alabama lets him read the whole field, which is nice. Very confident player, can throw with some velocity. Sometimes has a tendency to trust his arm a little bit too much, and that can get him into some trouble. I've seen him change plays at the line and really take command of that offense. Rhythm passer, so you're definitely going to want to kind of get him on a roll. Get him a couple easy throws and get him into rhythm. A couple screens, slants, just some easy, quick throws. You got guys like Adam Thielen who know how to get open. I think that would be a good guy to use for that. Solid arm strength, but not elite. Good ball placement, though. Good touch. And I think he's a solid quarterback. And I think it adds on to what they're doing. I think guys like Miles Sanders, like I said, Adam Thielen, DJ Shark, Terrence Marshall, I think those are some good guys. Hayden Hurst as well. Some pretty decent weapons. Like I said, I think you could improve, the fourth receiver spot, Shi Smith, Laviska Shenault, Damiere Byrd, Preston Williams. I think you can improve that position later in the draft. Offensive line is definitely somewhere that they could look to improve as well. And really just support the young quarterback that you just drafted. I think that would be the most logical thing to do. So, moving on. They pull up the Texans depth chart so I can take a look at their roster as well. I mean, obviously we know they're going quarterback. That's a good point. Let me pull up the Dolphins' opponents. No. We shouldn't play them, but I mean, it could be the random NFC opponent that we face. I'll keep this. So we play the NFC East. We do play the Panthers. Interesting. Okay. So we play the NFC East, and then the random NFC opponent is the Panthers. I bet. But the Houston Texans, moving on to them, obviously Davis Mills didn't really get it done for them. I assume they're going to go quarterback. I assume it'll be C.J. Stroud. But Dameon Pierce was a really good rookie running back for him last year. Receiving core, after trading away Cooks, is pretty rough. Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Noah Brown, John Mechie, who should be back after, the cancer scare. So good on for him. They got Dalton Schultz. They really need a lot of help in the receiving core big time. So I assume they get C.J. Stroud. And hopefully after that, they can go and get some major receiving help because they really, really need it. They do have pick 12, so honestly, I'd probably go get them a receiver. I mean, they could use offensive line help too. Shaq Mason, Titus Howard, that's pretty rough. Laramie Tunzel, still obviously really good. I'd give Kenyon Green another year to develop. I really liked him last year. But I think receiver is a must. Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Noah Brown, John Mechie, Amari Rogers, Jalen Camp. That's horrible. That's horrible. I would absolutely be going receiver after you go quarterback right here. But you got to go quarterback first. I mean, you're not going to get it done with Davis Mills. You're just not. Texans pick is in. I assume. Well, we all assume that this is C.J. Stroud. I think that's probably a pretty safe bet. Do we play the Texans as well? I think we might. No, maybe not. Okay, never mind. Defense, they still have quite a few holes there too, but I think, I mean, obviously they're going to have to go quarterback, and then I really think you should support that quarterback. And this draft is filled with receiver talent. And honestly, if I were the Texans, I would double down on receiver. I would go CJ Stroud here, draft whoever their top receiver is, at least available at 12, and then at some point later in the draft, I would double down in like the second or third round and get another receiver. This draft is filled with them, and they need the help bad. They got themselves a running back, but they really need weapons for, I assume, their young quarterback. And even if you're going to run with Davis Mills, he's going to need receivers. So it don't matter. All right, here we go. All right, bet. Yeah, CJ Stroud. Cool. So, quarterback from Ohio State, 6'3", 218 pounds. Pretty fast release. Shown the ability to buy time in the pocket, but he also can throw the football very well on the move. I think he needs to go through his reads a little bit faster. Arm strength is above average, just really solid, but not necessarily elite. Pre and post snap reads could be a little bit better. Accuracy is solid, but I think there's always area for improvement there. I think he's mostly a pocket passer, but he can hurt you with his legs if he needs to. Tends to throw into double coverage, but sometimes you have to. I mean, a perfectly thrown ball is going to beat perfect coverage. It just is what it is. Believes in his arm for sure. Very confident quarterback. Can throw with a lot of touch. Ohio State, you gave him a lot of easier throws, slants, screens, but he has also shown the capability of making harder ones as well. I think this guy's got a lot of potential to be a pretty solid quarterback, has the size you would like. So, yeah. Yeah, I agree. Build through the draft. That's exactly what Tampa did. They went and drafted guys like Mike Evans and, Chris Godwin, and they just slowly, chipped away, making a good team. And then when they went and got Brady, they went and got guys like Gronk and Ndamukong Suh. They went and got guys like that once they had Tom, but they pretty much had their core team assembled already. So, yeah, that's a good call. I agree. But you've drafted your quarterback now. You've got CJ Stroud. So now you're going to have to support this dude. There's a lot of holes in this offense. Center, right guard, and right tackle is pretty bad. Scott Quessenberry, Shaq Mason, and Titus Howard, that's pretty gross. Laramie Tunsil at left tackle is really solid, and I think Kenyon Green can be a really solid player. Tight end, Dalton Schultz, pretty decent. Damian Pierce, Devin Singletary, that's a fantastic running back duo. But receivers, you need receivers. Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Noah Brown, John Mechie. That's terrible. You need receiver help. And John Mechie is a very athletic guy, and I'm hoping to see him have a good sophomore campaign after fighting cancer last year. But you're still going to need a lot of help. Defense is looking pretty rough too, but I think you got to really make a focus on that offense. I really do. So, yeah. Let me pull up the Cardinals. So, I would assume that this would be Will Anderson. I would assume. I think that's what most people are thinking with this pick. Unless they are looking to trade Kyler Murray, which would be interesting. But I don't think that's the case. Just marking that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud have been drafted on my board. I'm going to do that so I have an easier time in like day 3 seeing what guys I still have available. I'm going to do that for each player that gets drafted. I mean, D-Hop is probably going to be gone for the Cardinals, so I think receiver is going to be something they should look at eventually, but definitely not right now. There's no receivers that would be nearly good enough to go right here, right now. I mean, they're looking like a 4-3 team. They got Zaven Collins as an edge rusher. That's weird. Jonathan Ledbetter? Yeah, they got to go edge. They have to. They have to. They have to go Will Anderson. Holy shit. That's terrible. Jai Sanders, LJ Collier. Ugh, that defense is looking pretty gross. Yeah, they got to go receiver. Edge. So, yeah, this should be Will Anderson here. This should be a no-brainer. Cardinals are still on the clock, though. Oh, Texans are trading up. They're back at 3? Is that for real? Is that really what just happened? Did the Texans really just trade up to 3 and they're going to have back-to-back picks? Well, let me pull up the Texans depth chart again if that's going to be the case. Yeah, I said that they should go receiver next. Now that's no longer the case. Now they got to go defense. Like I said, they could use a lot of edge rusher help. Jonathan Greenyard, Jerry Hughes, that's not going to really help you. But also, Jalen Carter is still there. That's an upgrade over Malik Collins and Sheldon Rankins as well. I wouldn't be upset either way. Will Anderson's probably the safer pick because, he doesn't have any off-the-field concerns. But I think Jalen Carter is by far the better player. So, and edge rusher value is considered to be higher, even though 3 techs, in my opinion, are actually harder to find. So, I don't know. So, let's see. Texans pick is in. We got drama already. I love it. So, what happened to the Cardinals? Like, what was the draft compensation for that? So, the Cardinals are now at 12. So, they have the Texans picked there. And honestly, the Cardinals can still get a decent edge rusher at that point later if they want to as well, which I still think they need to go edge. But I assume this is Will Anderson, even though I do think that Jalen Carter is the better player and the Texans need both 3 tech and edge. But like I said, Will Anderson is the safer pick because he doesn't really have any off-the-field concerns. If it were me, though, I'd probably take Jalen Carter. I just think he's straight up the better player. And I think elite 3 techs are extremely hard to find. Edge rushers are too, but I think edge rushers are a little easier to find than 3 techs. I got edge rushers in this class that I like. There are not very many 3 techs. I mean, you go on a commercial break. Damn, you're going to leave me in suspense? That's just rude. I like that we got drama. Oh, no, you're not leaving me in suspense. Thank you. All right. Yep, Will Anderson. I mean, so far, the players have been pretty predictable. I wasn't expecting the Texans to trade up to 3. But shout out to them having Will Anderson. He's a fantastic player, very safe prospect. He comes in day one as a really, really solid player for you. And honestly, I just think it's a fantastic move. Some pretty good ball get off, some good burst to him, good strength to power, good hand placement, has a nice cloth pull, is actually pretty decent in zone as well. Will pull down on your hands, can rip under the arm, solid hand fight. Sometimes stays on his block on the block and tends to jog a little bit too in the run game, but he can squeeze and sets the edge effectively. Getting a little bit bigger would help a little bit. I see him more as a 3-4 outside linebacker. They seem to be running a 4-3, but I think he can put his hand in the dirt as well, especially if he gets a little bit bigger. I don't really see that as too much of an issue. And I think he could improve on his tackling a little bit. But I think this guy is a fantastic prospect. Really high floor. I think he steps in right away and is just a really solid edge rusher for them. And shout out to the Texans. So moving on to the Colts. But actually, before I get into that, I guess I'll talk about how he fits onto the Texans as well. Like I said, the Texans seem to be running more of a 4-3 right now. And he steps in right now, obviously better than Jonathan Greenyard or Jerry Hughes. Jerry Hughes is still a pretty good player, but he is older. I think he comes in right away and, takes one of their jobs and then the other guys can just kind of rotate. And I think he immediately is a plug and play and makes their defense a lot better. So, yeah. Colts, they got to go Anthony Richardson here, right? Unless they like Will Levis. I didn't see the compensation. Let me see about that. Let me see. I assume trading up to 3 after you just picked at 2. Ooh. They gave up 12-33. Oh, no. That's a lot for Will Anderson. That is a lot. That's a lot for Will Anderson. They're picking at 12. You probably could have gotten like Nolan Smith or Tyree Wilson at that point. I like Will Anderson a lot, but I don't like him that much. That's a lot. That's a lot to give up for Will Anderson. Good player. It's a good player, and he does make their team better right now. But I don't know about that. So let's talk about the Colts because their pick is in. Like I said, they got to go quarterback here. I assume Gardner Minshew is not their plan for the future. Neither is Nick Foles or Sam Ehlinger. Obviously, running back is solid. Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss. They could use a lot of help at receiver. And I think that's going to have to be something that they have to look into. Offensive line, they need a lot of help. Tight end, they could use help. But I think Jelani Woods year 2 could be interesting. He is a blue chip player. He is a very, very good player. That's just a lot for Will Anderson. I wouldn't give up that much for him. I think the value you get in Tyree Wilson or Nolan Smith, whichever you prefer the two, I prefer Nolan Smith. I'd rather just stay at 12, to be quite honest with you. But it is what it is. But like I said, I assume the Colts go quarterback here. You don't get opportunities to draft guys like Anthony Richardson often. And even if you draft him, I wouldn't start him right away. Gardner Minshew is a decent quarterback. You can sit him behind him and Nick Foles. Just kind of let him learn the system for a little while. I think that's probably going to be your best bet. And like I said, they are going to have to patch up the receiving core and the offensive line. Michael Pittman is really solid. Alec Pierce is okay. Isaiah McKenzie, they need a lot of help at receiver. Bernard Raymond, I still don't really like. Quentin Nelson obviously is fantastic. Ryan Kelly's Will Fries, I'm not a fan of. Braden Smith's fine. But I do think they could use a lot of help on the O-line and receiving core, but obviously right now they're going to have to go quarterback. Their pick is in. Let me go ahead and get the Seahawks lined up. In the meantime, all right, Colts pick is in. Yep, Anthony Richardson. That's what I thought. So, big guy, 6'4", like 230 pounds, buys time, scrambles very well, super athletic guy, really, really big arms, shows flashes of accuracy, flashes of decision-making. But this guy is extremely raw. He has no idea how to play quarterback yet. Fantastic, very raw prospect that needs to learn how to play the game. But out of the quarterbacks in this class, this guy has by far the highest ceiling. He has all the athletic traits to be the best quarterback in this class by far. You just got to really help develop him, and I'm hoping that he can sit behind guys like Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew that have been around the league for a while, and really just develop under those guys, because this guy can be a real star at some point. And if he does have to come in and play right now, I think he can get him in rhythm, get him some easy throws, use his mobility, use his strength, and, just let him do what he's good at. So, like in the case where, you lose Gardner Minshew and Nick Foles, that would be the only that would be the only situation where I'd let Anthony Richardson play. You're a Gators fan? I don't really have a college team. Honestly, outside of like watching film, I don't really watch college ball. So, shout out to the Colts. Like I said, now they're going to have to really step in and build around this offense. Whether he's going to come in and play right away or not, you're going to have to build around your quarterback room. Second round, like I said, I would be looking at, receiver, offensive line. I'd be really trying to improve this offense a lot. That should be the focus of this Colts draft. Oh, just a Florida football fan in general? Oh, so you're not just a Dolphins fan, so you like the Jaguars and Bucks too? That's interesting. I get you now. That makes sense. I don't really do that. I'm a Dolphins fan only. At most, I got some UFC fighters that I root for. That's about as far as I go. And I'm a very loose Heat fan. That's about it. But I don't even really follow them that close. But moving on to Seattle. Seattle's interesting because for the most part, I think that the Seattle Seahawks, you can't see Jacksonville. That makes sense. They don't really show too many games around here. I think for the most part, Seattle's pretty bad at drafting, but last year they were pretty good at it. So I don't know where that leaves them. But I mean, they do technically need quarterback, but they can't take one here. I know they have Geno Smith, and that's who they're going to be sticking with for a while. But, I mean, I do think they should take a quarterback at some point in this class just to, start to develop them. Wide receiver, offensive line, D-line, is still all positions that they need. They need a lot of defenders. I mean, I would just go Jalen Carter, to be honest. I would just go best player available. That's what I would do. I mean, they could go edge, I guess, and go like Nolan Smith, who would be, or Tyree Wilson, depending on who they prefer. But I'd go Jalen Carter, personally. And I'll go ahead and get the Lions ready. And man, if the Lions have a good draft this weekend, they could be really scary. And Seattle better draft Jalen Carter, because if he gets to Detroit, man, that could be scary. But also, if Detroit gets Nolan Smith, that's scary. They're going to be an interesting team. Detroit's going to have to go receiver at some point this year, too, because Jameson Williams has been suspended. That would have been interesting. I just seen on Twitter, what if the Texans took C.J. Stroud and Will Levis at 2 and 3 and then let them compete, and then whoever they didn't want afterwards, just trade them for a 2024 first-round pick? That would have been interesting, but it would have been really dumb. And I don't know why you would take Levis. I would take Stroud and Richardson. You think receiver for Seattle? Oh, or Detroit. I don't know. They both need receiver, but I don't think any of the receivers are worth going here. Especially with some of the edge rushers available. And obviously Jalen Carter. I think if Carter's gone, whoever they prefer between Tyree Wilson or Nolan Smith, I would take that guy. For me, it would be Nolan. But in their case, Tyree Wilson could make a little bit more sense just because they are a 4-3 team. I don't know. But I think Nolan can put his hand in the dirt too if he needs to. I'm not really that concerned about that. I just think Nolan Smith is just fantastic. I do like the receivers in this class. I just don't think any of them are worth a top 10 pick. And because there's so many good receivers in this class, I just feel like you can get receiver help later, where edge rusher runs out pretty fast. I don't like that many edge rushers in this class. Where I'm pretty confident I can get a pretty solid receiver for you on day 3. They got a lot of guys. I think this class, wide receiver, running back, tight end, and corner, I think are all very deep. Offensive line's pretty whack. And so is D-line. Like, 3 techs, nose tackles, shit like that. That's pretty whack too. Linebacker's bad as well. Quarterback's kind of mid. All right, Seattle's pick is in. I assume this is Jalen Carter. It's got to be. But also, Seattle does goofy shit sometimes. But, this one's right in their face. They got to. How can you not? I kind of hope they don't take him. I kind of hope they don't take him so Detroit can get him. Devin Witherspoon? Didn't they just draft 2 good corners last year? Wait. Hold on. Hold on. I have a commenter that I've got to say something to right now because in my mock draft, I had Seattle fucking up and taking a corner, and he said there was no shot Seattle takes a corner. I gotta talk my shit real quick. One second. I didn't pick Devon Witherspoon though. I should have because it's a fucking Seattle guy. That makes sense. He's a zone coverage guy. I'll get into him in a minute. He's a good corner. Don't get it twisted. And like I said, I can understand him being somebody's number one corner. Where are you? Okay, cool. Yeah. Vasid. 0 chances. Seattle takes a corner. Yeah? Think so? Okay. I just had to talk my shit real quick. That's all. My bad. Let me talk about Devon Witherspoon because he is a good player. Don't get it twisted. So smaller guy, 6 foot, 180 pounds, plays with a lot of anticipation and feels routes very well. Good ball skills, will absolutely get pass breakups, very aggressive. Great eyes for interceptions, especially in zone. Very good balance, aggressive tackler despite him not being the biggest. Doesn't have that elite level speed, but is fast enough for sure. And especially if you're going to be doing a lot of zone, it's fine. And overall, a really good first-round talent. He was my number 3 corner personally, but again, it completely depends on what your team is doing. Seattle does a lot of zone, so Devon Witherspoon being their number 1 makes a lot of sense. I think I gave them Joey Porter, I think. No, I gave him Christian Gonzalez, who is my number 1 corner. But that makes a lot of sense. But that means if I'm Detroit, I'm sprinting to the podium. And Seattle is back to not being able to draft. Devon Witherspoon is a good player. Don't get it twisted. But Jalen Carter is right there. And they kind of already have Devon Witherspoon at home. They got Kobe Bryant. They got Devon Witherspoon at home. Whatever. Do your thing, Seattle. Do your thing. I don't know. Detroit hasn't announced their pick yet. That's interesting. It should be Jalen Carter, though. I mean, you got Aleem McNeil and Isaiah Buggs as your starting defensive tackles, sprinting to the goddamn podium. This isn't even a decision. Like, the second that pick was announced and it wasn't Jalen Carter, I'm running as fast as I can to make that pick. Jalen Carter, by the way, is my number 1 prospect in this draft over Will Anderson. I think he's by far the most talented player in this draft. So if you can get him here, the Cardinals are on the clock. Well, the Cardinals should do that. Damn it. I wanted it to be Detroit, though. Damn it. Don't let him go to the Raiders. All right, Cardinals, take him. I don't want him in the AFC. I don't know why I was really wanting him in Detroit, but I really was. I just kind of want to see the Lions be good. I'm not a Lions fan by any means. It's just they've been so bad for so long. I'd like to see them be really good. And I like Dan Campbell. Let me pull the Cardinals back up. I mean, the Cardinals need everything. The Cardinals are pretty whack across the board. They're trying to trade D-Hop, so I don't know where that leaves them in that regard. They could use edge, but I mean, I assume if they traded up, it's got to be for Jalen Carter. They didn't expect Jalen Carter to still be here. They have an opportunity. I assume that's why they're trading up. Oh, I forgot to mark my Anthony Richardson and Devon Witherspoon have been drafted. So now I need to see, what did they have to do to get up to 6? J.J. Watt retired. So that don't matter. Their defensive line right now is Zaven Collins, who's a linebacker for real. Should be a Sam linebacker. Rashad Lawrence, Liki Fotu, and Jonathan Ledbetter. Why is Zaven Collins an edge rusher for them? Arizona's weird. They do goofy shit, man. Don't take somebody else. Take I don't know. I don't know who I want them to take, but I don't want Jalen Carter to go to this fucking bullshit team. I assume. Okay, so that's not as bad of a trade. I mean, this could be offensive line. DJ Humphries, Kelvin Beachum. Do you trade up, though, for any of the offensive tackles? I wouldn't. Not in this class. It's got to be Jalen Carter. It has to be. Why would you trade up? Oh, no, they did take Paris Johnson. They suck. They suck at drafting. Okay. Paris Johnson's not a bad player. Don't get me wrong. He is a first-round talent. And he's my number 5 tackle just because I like high floor players at offensive line. But he has a lot of potential, very much a very athletic prospect. Has the strength, has the athleticism, all that. I just think on the technical level, he has a lot of room to improve. I actually like his teammate, DeJuan Jones, a lot better than him just because I think he's more NFL ready. But, I mean, drafting somebody to protect Kyler Murray, I guess that makes sense. But that's just weird to me to trade up for Paris Johnson. That's very, very strange to me. I would not do that. So, whatever. Decent player. Don't get it twisted. But all right, let's take a look at the Raiders. I think they should take quarterback at some point, but not here. They could use some receiver. I mean, Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfro's solid. Jacoby Myers is okay. After that, they could use some help. Tight end's good. They could go O-line as well. Maybe that's why the Cardinals traded up ahead of them. Jermaine Elamore is pretty bad. That's pretty rough. Colton Miller, I think, is still kind of overrated. But, I mean, Jalen Carter's right there. Jalen Carter's right there. Teams suck at this, man. Teams really suck at this. Raiders could do some weird shit, too. Yeah, yeah. The Saints are terrible too. They can't draft either. The Raiders are very capable of doing some goofy shit as well. And I don't want this to don't get it twisted. Paris Johnson is a solid player, and I think he does make the Cardinals a better team. And it helps you protect Kyler Murray. But I feel like they were at like what, 12? You probably still could have gotten him, or like Broderick Jones, who's a pretty similar player in my opinion. If I'm trading up that at all, I'm going to get Jalen Carter. That's the only reason I'm trading up. At this point, with how talented Carter is, if he falls out of the top 10, he might be an undraftable player. Like, he's an amazing prospect, but if his off the field issues are that bad and teams are that scared to draft him, then he must have like shot somebody and we don't know it yet. Like that's where it's at right now. Like, he's somebody you build a defense around. Like, Will Anderson is a player you plug into a defense and he immediately makes your team better. Jalen Carter is the guy that you build your team around. Different. That's the difference. I don't know. I hope the Raiders take Peter Skoronski. Isn't that who is that who I mocked to them? I thought they would do some goofy shit. Actually, I think I don't remember. Are they looking at a trade? Is that why they're taking so long? And I can say the Raiders do some goofy shit because, the Dolphins do goofy shit too. So I could say that. We're bad at it too. I don't want them to have Jalen Carter, though. That's what I'm thinking. And Jalen Carter is the only player that's good enough to do that with. Paris Johnson's is a fine player. Don't get it twisted. But I don't want him in the AFC, man. Come on, Raiders. Do Raiders things. Let Jalen Carter fall to Atlanta or something. All right, Raiders pick is in. Let me pull up the Falcons ahead of time, too. That way I can start talking about them soon. Yo, I don't know if anyone in here is a Harry Potter fan, but you know the goblins in Harry Potter? Like the main one that's in the vault of the bank that in Sorcerer's Stone. Mel Kiper looks like that dude. He just does. I fucking hate Mel Kiper. He looks like if he pulled on his nose, his face would come with it. That Raiders guy, whoever that was in the war room, he looked like he was up to something. He looked confused. That guy clearly hasn't heard of any of these players until today. He just looking at names. Skoronski sounds Russian. He sounds tough. That sounds like a Viking name. Even though Russians aren't Vikings, but whatever. All right, come on now. Pick is in. Let's go. Announce the pick. Not Jalen Carter. Not Jalen Carter. Or Nolan Smith. Take like if you're gonna do edge rusher, do like Tyree Wilson. Like I like Tyree Wilson, but that won't piss me off. Okay, cool. You did it. You did what I asked. Okay, so that's a solid pick. That's a solid pick, but it doesn't piss me off, and I can't make fun of him. It's not a bad pick by any means. I think this pick makes sense. Let me pull up my notes. So really good edge rusher, bigger guy. He can play as a 3-4 outside linebacker, and I also think he could put his hand in there as well. He's actually not bad in zone for being a bigger guy. Good speed to power. Will defeat the outside hand. Will squeeze. Not a massive tool bag, but he is a strong player and has some decent hands. I think he has a pretty high ceiling, but he has a pretty decent floor too. I think he can come in and be a solid edge rusher right now. Pretty long player. Doesn't turn super well. Doesn't change direction super well. Has a decent bull rush. Has have a tendency to run down the middle of people sometimes. I mean, I he's a solid prospect, and I do think he makes the team better, but it doesn't sicken me. So, I mean, shout out to the Raiders. And I think Max Crosby, Tyree Wilson, and Chandler Jones is a pretty fun edge rusher unit. It really is. Yeah, that's fun. That's very fun. But it doesn't gross me out like it would have with Jalen Carter or even Nolan Smith. Okay. Atlanta, are they still? They look like they're still running a 3-4. Man, Jalen Carter is clearly the best player available, but Nolan Smith fits the Falcons so much to me, and they do really need edge rusher really bad. So I could see this going either way. And apparently they're sticking with Desmond Ridder. Dude, they need receiver bad, man. Drake London, Mac Hollins, Scotty Miller. That is horrible. That's horrible. Mac Hollins is your number 2 receiver. Don't get it twisted. I love Mac Hollins. He was great for us. As a 5th receiver special teams guy. Scotty Miller is Matt Collins and Scotty Miller are like solid 4th or 5th receivers. It's about, oh man, they really need receiver. Holy shit! But you don't have to take that now. There's tons of receivers in this class. They might want to take 3 receivers in this class. Holy shit! Man, the Falcons did not waste time. Pick is already in. I appreciate that. Hopefully they're smart and be like, okay, Jalen Carter is available. Run to the fucking podium. And don't got to think twice. But like I said, Nolan Smith would make a lot of sense for the Falcons too. Just scheme-wise. I'm kind of excited for Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way. First 2 were fantastic. The MCU has been kind of suspect as of late, but that does look pretty damn good. But, man, Devon Witherspoon, Paris Johnson, and Tyree Wilson going over Jalen Carter is crazy to me. Ooh. Yo, Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter have to go in these next 2 picks. I do not want either one of them as an Eagle. That's bad business. Don't let either one of them dudes go to the Eagles. Bijan Robinson will already make me sick. But it's probably going to happen. Yeah, the Falcons' offense is gross. It really is. Yeah, but they really can't. I mean, their edge rushers are so bad. But they got Calais Campbell and Grady Jarrett. I don't think they can go Jalen Carter. I almost feel like they got to go Nolan Smith. And he makes so much sense for them. And their offense is terrible. It's so bad. I take one of them, though. And Bears, you got to take the other. I don't want either one of them as an Eagle. By the way, if you don't know anything about me, I can't stand the Eagles. Like, I actually hate them worse than the Dolphins' rivals. Just because their fans annoy the shit out of me. And half my family is Eagles fans. That probably has something to do with it. My family is Eagles fans and Patriots fans. Mostly. Yeah, but Jalen Carter is so fantastic. But Nolan Smith just screams Falcons to me. They can say the top 2 names are gone, but I like Nolan Smith better than Tyree Wilson. And he was knocking on Will Anderson's door for me. But didn't quite pass it. All right, here we go. Here comes Commissioner Goodell. All right, bro, announce the pick. That's great. The Big Brother program is fantastic, but announce the pick. That ain't what we're here for tonight. I'm glad, like, it's a great organization. That's wonderful. All right. All right. Why'd you be like Andre Carter? Something weird. Okay. Man. All right, Bijan Robinson to the Falcons. Very good player, obviously. Fantastic running back. One of the best players in this class. I was not expecting them to take him. Definitely makes their team better. 6 foot, 220 pounds. Solid blocker. Very, very strong. Solid speed to him. Like, he checks all the boxes. Just an amazing fucking athlete. And immediately makes their offense better. And I was saying their offense is pretty whack. And they need, just talent in general on offense. I kind of think running back is a bit of a luxury pick, though. But, I mean, if you're going to build around Desmond Ridder, you probably want to rely on the run game a lot. So, I mean, it does make sense. But it's a great pick. But, man, damn it, Philly. Because Philly drafts well. That's what scares me. Philly knows how to draft. But he does make the team better. He's way better than any of the guys they got. He's better than Tyler. He's better than Cordell Patterson. And he is a great blocker and gives you value as a receiving back, too. He checks all the boxes as an elite running back prospect. And I'm usually not up for drafting running backs in the first round, but he is special. But Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter is on the fucking board. But they don't really need that position too much. So I understand the Falcons not taking him. Shit, Philly moved up. They're getting Jalen Carter. Oh, no. This is going to make me want to puke. Don't do this to me. You got Jordan Davis last year and Nakobe Dean. Damn it, Philly. I hate the Eagles, dude. I hate them. The Bills draft well. The Bills draft well too, and Baltimore. Damn it, Philly. This is gonna piss me off. I mean, great, fantastic for Jalen Carter, but bro, I mean, the Eagles depth chart is already amazing. They just paid Jalen Hurts. Oh my God. Brandon Graham, Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat. You add Jalen Carter to that. Jesus Christ. Nakobe Dean in year 2. James Bradbury, Darius Slay. Oh my God. That is disgusting. Yo. These GMs need to be fired, bro, for letting Jalen Carter fall to Philly. They can't watch football no more. They're not allowed. Damn it. Damn it, Philly. The rich get richer, man. But I can't really even be that mad at it. Because shout out to the Eagles for knowing how to draft. Shout out to the Eagles for being aggressive with free agency and trades. They're doing it all. They're one of the few teams that actually attacks well in all 3 phases of player acquisition. So shout out to them. You know, this is a draft where you've really got to do your homework to know what you're doing. This ain't like a lot of drafts where you can just, look at the best guys at the premier positions and have it work out. Come on. Go ahead and hurt me. Oh, Tennessee traded up. Is that correct? That sounded like what they were saying. Doesn't look like it, but that's what the commentators were saying. Whatever. Oh, no, they're saying Philly moved up. Okay, yeah, that's correct. Then. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. Shout out to Philly. I hate you, Chicago. Yep. Yep. What the fuck? Shout out to Jalen Carter. He is an amazing player. That does everything right. Strong as shit, technical as shit, great hands, aggressive as hell. He does everything you want in a defensive tackle. He is the best defensive tackle prospect I've watched in years. By far the best player in this draft. He is a tier above everybody else, in my opinion. No one is close. Shout out to Philly. Damn. Damn it, Philly. Doing things well. How dare you? I'll pull up the Titans depth chart while I talk about the Bears. All right, so the Bears, I mean, they need a lot. They need a running back, but they can't do that right here. They need receiver. Bad. DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool, that's pretty rough. They could still use O-line. One second. My bad. My cat got caught outside in the rain, was scratching at my my window. So that's what that was. So Chicago needs a lot. They need a lot on defense. They seem to be running a 4-3 nowadays. Nolan Smith could still make sense. They could definitely use some corner. Value-wise, that's probably what I would do. You know, Joey Porter, Christian Gonzalez, they're both still available. They could take whoever their top their top tackle is. Whether that be Broderick Jones, mine would be DeJuan Jones personally. Like I said, they really need a receiver really bad. I know they weren't really too sold on Justin Fields. I would build around him. I think he can be a fantastic player for you. And I definitely wouldn't be taking anyone like Will Levis right now. But Bears do Bears shit, so maybe they will. Man. Fucking Philly, man. That's nasty business. Bears could go pretty much anywhere. They need everything. Jalen Carter's so fucking fantastic. Look at that. Oh, my God. The only good thing is I know Vach Lombardi, as a Cowboys fan, is going to be even more pissed about this than me. And that'll be amusing when I watch his live stream back. That'll be fun. But damn, that's nasty business. But again, the good teams that do things properly get rewarded. You know, they evaluate players properly. You know, they make good trades that make sense. They make key free agent moves. Yeah, must be nice. Tennessee will be interesting too because they need a lot as well. Tennessee, if that could be a really good spot for Nolan Smith. Having Nolan Smith and Harold Landry would be so cool. That'd be such a cool combination. But I think corner makes a lot of sense for the Bears. But so does every other position. All right, let's announce it already so I can talk about it because I have no idea what the Bears are going to do. They need everything. Damn. That's a good pick. Darnell Wright. I like Darnell Wright a lot. I was hoping teams didn't like him as much as I do. Very, very technical player from Tennessee, 6'6", 335 pounds, but does have some athleticism to him. Really good punch. Super technical prospect, can wall guys off. Gets to the second level pretty well. Good help guy. Plays a little bit high, some pretty fast hands, very tenacious player, just really, really solid-ass right tackle. And he can play left, he can play guard, but just a fantastic prospect. I can't complain about that pick. That's a great pick. I like DeJuan Jones better, but Darnell Wright's a fantastic pick. Damn. Him and DeJuan Jones are the two most technical guys. He's my number 2 offensive lineman in this class. It was DeJuan Jones and then Darnell Wright. But people really weren't talking about him, so I was kind of hoping he would slide. But no dice. All right, let me mark that they've been drafted. So the pick is in for the Titans. They really need receiver really bad. Like I said, Nolan Smith would make a lot of sense. He fits in very well with what they do. Treylon Burks, Chris Moore, like they could really use a lot of help at wide receiver. I know that it sounds like they don't really like Malik Willis, so a guy like Will Levis could make some sense too. We'll see. Tennessee could go a lot of different directions too. They could also go corner. Besides Devon Witherspoon, pretty much all your top corners are available. So, I mean, they could go that route as well. That's nice. They do need tackle. They do need tackle. You're not wrong. They kind of need everything. But right now, I think for a position in need, I think Nolan Smith is the best player. But they could go like Broderick Jones, DeJuan Jones, somebody like that. Peter Skoronski, if they really like Peter Skoronski, I'm not as big a fan of him. You know, quarterback is a thing too for them. Absolutely. Whether they like Will Levis or Hendon Hooker, I wouldn't. I don't really like either one of them here. But, I mean, they absolutely can do that. Titans need a lot. And it sounds like they're trying to get rid of Derrick Henry as well, so we'll see. And the Lions are going to be on the clock after them. I kind of gave my Lions talk earlier, but I'll talk about them again in a moment. Dude, it is pouring outside. If my stream suddenly ends, you know why. My neighbor has a tree where the branches are right over the fucking power lines. He's been fined so many different times. Every time the wind gets too bad, it fucking knocks out our power. It's irritating. All right, man. Titans pick is in. Let's go. Really? Oh, yeah, they got to go offense. The Titans didn't score 30 points at any point last year. They got to go offense. Yeah, they got to go either quarterback, receiver, or tackle. I don't like Peter Skoronski all that much. I would either go DeJuan Jones or Broderick Jones if you're going no tackle. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. The Texans made 2 very good picks. They did. I don't know if I like the compensation that you had to give up to go get Will Anderson, but getting C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson is fantastic for your team. Immediately makes your team better. C.J. Stroud comes in day one, I think, as better than Davis Mills, and Will Anderson is a plug-and-play guy that is immediately your best edge rusher, debatably your best defensive player. I think, like I said, the compensation for it is a little bit suspect just because, I mean, Nolan Smith is still available, and you guys would have been picking at 12. I mean, I guess the Titans could take him here. But I don't know. Hang on. Let me hear the Titans pick real quick. Peter Skoronski. Okay, Titans. Not a big fan of the pick. I'm going to be honest. I think Peter Skoronski is pretty overrated. As a Texans fan, you should be pretty excited about the Texans making this pick. I think he is a decent player, but I think he is extremely overrated. I don't think he's all that technical at all. He's got some pretty short arms, and he has no idea how to deal with players that are longer than him. Teams are talking about wanting to move him to guard because of that, but I don't think that's a good idea because people have this misconception that guards are just people that can't play tackle. That's not the case. They're 2 different positions. Guard, you need to be physically strong enough to handle 330-pound men on a regular basis because you're going to be up against nose tackles on a regular basis. This guy doesn't have the anchor or the strength to deal with those types of players. So he has to stay at tackle. He's not strong enough to play guard, in my opinion. So he has to stay at tackle, which means his length is going to continue to be an issue. He's a decent athlete, and if he learns to use his hands better, he can be a decent player. I mean, Joe Thomas had short arms too, but his hand fight, and same with like why am I blanking on his fucking name? Went to the Chargers 2 years ago. Fucking Rashawn Slater. Jesus, I couldn't think of it for a second. Mine went blank. He had short arms as well, but the hand technique was so spectacular that, it made up for it. Peter Skoronski, that's not the case. He's not that type of caliber player. He just doesn't have the technical aspect to be able to pull that off. So I think it's a little soon for him. I think he's actually more of a second round talent, and you're taking him very, very early. I think he's extremely overrated. But shout out to you, Tennessee. You could have had, most of your top corners are still available, whether it be Christian Gonzalez, Joey Porter Jr. You would have had your pick at receiver. I don't know. You could have had Broderick Jones, who I think is a better offensive tackle. Same with DeJuan Jones. I don't know. Whatever. Do your thing. Do your thing. But Texans, like I said, they did improve themselves quite a bit. I just don't know about the compensation. All right, Detroit's pick is in. Jahmyr Gibbs, that's very early for Detroit. But, dude, that running back room, DeAndre Swift, David Montgomery, and Jahmyr Gibbs is crazy. That is going to be – I don't like that pick, though. I think that's very, very early for him. I had him as a second-round talent. Solid player, though. A three-down running back can give you value. He has some power, has some ability to catch the ball. Solid player, but I think this is very early. And Detroit's been drafting very well, but that's not a great pick. You could have had Nolan Smith to improve your defense. I think he would immediately step in and be better than Charles Harris. You didn't go for that. You could have had your pick at receiver, especially with Jameson Williams being suspended. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of that move, like at all. He's a good player. Don't get it twisted. He makes your team better. But I don't know about that. All right, Packers. Let's see what you got. Green Bay, they still need all the receivers. They still need offensive tackle. I think you got to try to support Jordan Love. Corner's fine. Edge. I try to support Jordan Love. Either go offensive line or receiver. You have your pick at receiver, whoever the top guy is, whether it be Addison, whether it be Johnston, whether it be Jackson Smith and Jigba, whoever the Packers' number one receiver is, you can go that route. There's still plenty of tackles available. Broderick Jones and DeJuan Jones are both very good. But I think receiver would make sense. I think Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, I think that's pretty rough. So that's probably what I would do. And I'll pull up the Patriots too, so I can talk about them after. Man, Patriots. The Patriots have their team is the epitome of mediocre, bro. Look at that. Juju Smith-Schuster, Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Henry. Like, this is the epitome of average. Mac Jones, Mondre Stevenson. Like, They got a bunch of average, solid players that just Jabril Peppers. Matthew Judon's good, obviously, but all right, man. Green Bay's picking. It is. We're about halfway through this already. That's cool. I'd go receiver though if I were Green Bay. But offensive line would also make sense. But you have your pick at receiver, whoever their top guy is. And by the way, the Packers don't draft very well, so they could do something stupid. They could get like Jalen Hyatt here, who's just fast. That's all he is. He's just fast. Not even agile, not even quick. Just runs in a straight line pretty fast. Not a good route runner, not particularly elusive, just fast. They could do that. They could definitely do that. Packers do goofy shit all the time. That's why Aaron didn't want to stay. But I do think they should probably draft a receiver because their receiving core is whack and they're going to need to support Jordan Love somehow. Be funny if they went like Will Levis or something, though. You know, you've been grooming this guy for so long now. It'd be hilarious. Not my team, though. Packers are going to do Packers things. The Jets will be interesting, too. Now they got Aaron. Because now they got to be looking to win now. Because I don't imagine Aaron's going to be playing for the Jets for too long. Maybe a year or two. So. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of stopped watching the XFL. I mean, it's still good. I like the spring leagues existing. But it's pretty boring to watch. And, I mean, the USFL might hold my interest a little bit more just because it continues after the draft. But right now I'm already watching so much film. Indeed. That was a good trade for the Jets, though. I mean, value-wise, they didn't really lose a ton. All right, Green Bay, what you got? Going receiver? You should probably do that. You should definitely go offense. Do some goofy shit. I want to laugh. I want to laugh at you. Do some goofy shit. Yeah, that's some goofy shit. Lucas Van Ness at 13. Yep, that's some goofy shit. It's not the goofy shit I was anticipating. Goofy shit nonetheless. Not only that, aren't they a 3-4 team? That I don't even think that fits. Yeah, they're a 3-4 team. What are they going to do with Lucas Van Ness? What are they going to do with him? You're going to stand him up? I mean, is he a bad player? No. But he's like a day 2 guy to me. Like midway second round, third. I think he's vastly overrated. 6'5", 269 pounds. Strong, decent bull rush. Doesn't get people off him very consistently. Doesn't defeat the hands very consistently. Needs another move besides just the bull rush. Gets caught up in the fight a lot. Kind of a one-trick pony. Decent run defender. Plays a little bit of control. But he really needs to use his hands more and needs way more pass rush technique. Not super athletic. I don't really like him all that much. People are calling him J.J. Watt. I do not see that at all. Not every white edge rusher is J.J. Watt. It's not the case. Some white edge rushers are just random white edge rusher dude. He's an okay player. But that is some Packers type shit. And the Patriots might do some Packers type shit too, because they're bad at drafting too. Patriots could do a lot of things. The Patriots are very average across the board. They could just take whoever they think is the best available, which will be funny to see who that is. They could use some corner help for sure. What would be a funny corner for them to take here? I don't know. Let's see. Let me look. Pittsburgh's on a clock. Oh, they traded up. Oh, I was ready to laugh at the Patriots. Okay, whatever. Oh, Nolan Smith would be great for them. Yeah, it's going pretty good. Steelers don't usually draft that well either. I might be able to make fun of them as well. But, dude, Alex Highsmith is a pretty average edge rusher. Dude, if they get Nolan Smith and TJ Watt, that'd be crazy. I appreciate that. I'm going to be live for every night. By the way, this shouldn't apply tonight, but for if you didn't see it on Twitter, every Dolphins pick, I will be taking a shot with my Dolphin shot glass. So that's the thing. Yeah, I don't promote listening to them motherfuckers. I appreciate that. I don't really have anything that I would prefer to drink tonight, but if need be, I do have something. I got some rum that I can go grab real quick. But if we happen to trade up, I don't anticipate that happening. But tomorrow after work, I'm going to pick up a bottle as well. But Steelers pick is in. They need offensive line, but to trade up, I feel like the Steelers got to be going edge. And Nolan Smith is standing right there, and he is such a Steeler. And pairing him up with TJ Watt would be fantastic. That'd be so amusing. I appreciate that. And don't crash your car. Don't crash your car. All right, come on, Pittsburgh. Also, what did the Patriots get? Because I was really prepared to laugh at the Patriots. Dude, this first round's been weird. It's been very weird. I appreciate that. But Lucas Van Ness, that is something else. And that is such a Packers thing to do. Okay. Steelers pick is in. It should be Nolan Smith. Offensive tackle would make sense, though. Okay, Broderick Jones makes sense, too. Let me get my notes. I do like Broderick Jones. 6'4", 310 pounds from Georgia. Played against a lot of great guys, obviously, in the SEC. Solid feet, athletic guy. Gets the second level very well. Will look for work. Plays with a good base. Mirrors his man pretty well. Does tend to lean a little bit, which I'm not a fan of. That's how you get your cloth pulled. That's how you end up on your face a little bit. So I'd like to see him work on that. His hands do tend to get outside a little bit more than I would like, but when his hands do get inside, he looks good. And he will fight to get his hands back inside. Really good finish to him, has a lot of physical tools, but overall is kind of raw. I think he's someone that can be really good. Plays kind of high, in my opinion. But I think they made a pretty good pick here. Steelers needed offensive line. And I guess it makes sense to trade up here because there's not that many really good offensive tackles left. But Nolan Smith's really fallen, dude. It's going to be interesting. All right, Jets. Jets are on the clock. Dude. They could use some O-line too. I mean, they could go like Steve Avila, I guess. They could use – oh, no, don't take Nolan Smith. Don't take Nolan Smith. Jets, don't do it. You've been drafting well lately too, and that scares me. Let him slide to Washington or something. Don't let him go to New England either. New England. Don't put him in the AFC East against us. Don't do that. I like Nolan Smith too much for that. Don't do that. You can have take Miles Murphy. That'd be hilarious. Oh, I want a good laugh. I don't think the Jets will do that though. The Jets have been drafting better lately. The Patriots might. The Patriots are known for doing some goofy shit. Yo, I hate Mel Kiper's face. I hate it. Let me pull up Washington in the meantime, too. That way I can talk about them after the Jets pick. I think the weirdest one is probably Jahmyr Gibbs for the Lions. DeAndre Swift and David Montgomery already, and then you draft Jahmyr Gibbs. That's weird. And the Lions have been drafting well lately, which is why it was weird. Damn, Jets, they must be talking to somebody. They got to be talking to somebody. All right, come on. All right, man, either trade the pick or make it, bro. Jets could just take best available here. They don't really need corner. But, I mean, they pretty much would have their pick. Christian Gonzalez would be my number one corner. And if they like Joey Porter in that way. But, man, Christian Gonzalez paired with Sauce Gardner would be fucking frightening. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they might. The Jets have been drafting better lately. I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of good players available. I don't take DeJuan Jones though. That would upset me. I might prefer them to have Christian Gonzalez. I just really like DeJuan Jones. He's my guy. I know he's not coming to our team, but I just like him. And let's be honest, even if the Dolphins are picking right here, they probably wouldn't take him anyway. Did they really just said Kalijah Cansey? Todd McShay wants them to take Kalijah Cansey. Yes, Jets, take Kalijah Cansey. Please do that. Please take Kalijah Cansey. That would be hilarious. Do that. I don't want him to take Will McDonald either, but I'd rather him take Will McDonald than Nolan Smith. Please don't take Nolan Smith. Please don't do that. Nolan Smith is playing cards still, so I don't think it's him. They got to be on the phone with somebody. I'm wondering if one of these quarterback needy teams is trying to trade up for Will Levis, maybe. Or they see Nolan Smith or maybe Will McDonald available. I don't really fuck with. Well, I do like Will McDonald, but not with Nolan Smith available. The Jets are excited. All right, pick is in. All right, what are you doing? You gonna? Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. That would make a lot of sense for the Jets. It really would. I think that would make a lot of sense. Just don't take Nolan Smith. Let him go to Washington or something. Don't let him go to New England either. Let New England do goofy shit. Let them do like whatever their equivalent to Cole Strange would be. What would be the? I'm trying to think of like what miscellaneous player the Patriots could draft. I know that's not who we're on right now. Nick Saldivari, I think that's how you pronounce it. The Old Dominion kid, maybe. Just miscellaneous small school. Cody Mauch. Cody Mauch from North Dakota State. That should be the Patriots pick. He's not a bad player. It's just bad value here. And it's a very Patriots thing to do. But first, we got to get through the Jets and Washington. The Jets have just been on the clock for so long, I'm looking for shit to talk about. I mean, shout out to Aaron Rodgers getting what he wanted, I guess. Yo, Breece Hall, Zonovan Knight, Michael Carter is not bad at the running back room. I still think they could use receiver help, but they could go receiver here, I guess. I mean, they would have their pick. None of the receivers have been taken. So that would make sense, too. Adding one of whoever their top receiver is to Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Alan Lazard, McCole Hardman, Denzel Mims, like just really making a strength a strength. That can make sense, too. Who is this kid? Oh, it's a Make-A-Wish kid. I ain't going to say nothing mean. I was about to. I'm glad I didn't. Oh, you overcame bone cancer. That's great. Kyle Stickles. It's a hilarious name, but I'm trying not to laugh during this situation. I'm sorry. You went through bone cancer and your favorite team is the Jets. That's a rough life. I can't help it. All right. Don't thank him. Don't thank Goodell. You're welcome. That's wonderful. Announce the pick, though. Jets have been on clock forever. Okay. Will McDonald. Okay. Will McDonald's a good player, but it's not Nolan Smith, so I'm okay with that. Will McDonald is a really solid player, but it's not Nolan Smith, so it's fine. 6'4", 245 pounds, kind of raw, but does have some technical ability. Rushes with a plan. Very athletic guy. Really, really solid. Gonna make the Jets a better team. With Carl Lawson, John Franklin Myers, Jermaine Johnson, I think this guy comes in and is, an addition to that edge rusher room. But it's not Nolan Smith. And honestly, fit-wise, the Jets are more of a 4-3 team, so Nolan Smith probably doesn't fit as well. But Will McDonald's kind of smaller too, so, I don't know. They're both more but he can put his hand in the dirt a little bit better than Nolan. Okay, Washington's on the clock now. They don't need edge rusher, but they love taking them. So Nolan Smith would make some sense. Do they really believe in Sam Howell like that? Or, Will Levis is right there. But honestly, thinking back to last year, I believed in Sam Howell about as much as I do Will Levis, in fairness. They could go receiver. Curtis Samuel, Jahan Dotson behind Terry McLaurin's okay, but not great. Offensive line is definitely something they could look into. Corner, for sure. Kendall Fuller, Benjamin St. Juste. I think you could definitely improve there. Yeah, I'd probably take a corner. Christian Gonzalez or something. That would be what I would do. Unless you want to go quarterback. I'd either go corner or quarterback if I were Washington. They really think that Hendon Hooker and Will Levis will get drafted tonight? Maybe. They might. I know my official rankings already come out, and I had Hendon Hooker below Will Levis, but even in the week since that's come out, I'm already kind of regretting that decision. I'm kind of I think I'd rather take Hendon Hooker. Something's off with Will Levis. I don't know. Yeah. Either him or Joey Porter is going to be available, though. So either way, New England can get a decent corner. And, this class is filled with them. Oh, yeah, that is true. They didn't pick up Chase Young's fifth-year option. That is fair. They could go Nolan Smith here. That is fair. And he has been injured a lot. So Montez Sweat and Nolan Smith, you can kind of slow roll Nolan Smith behind Chase. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably do that. I would probably do that. I just think Nolan Smith is so much a better player than Christian Gonzalez. Not that's not a diss to Christian Gonzalez. He's my number one corner. But I just really believe in Nolan Smith that much. That's just me. And there ain't that many good edge rushers in this class, and there's a lot of good corners. So there's that. This has been a weird first round. I can't wait to see what Baltimore does. Baltimore has a first round. Yep, 22. Okay. Because they draft well typically. That thunder startled the shit out of me. It came out of nowhere. Like I said, if this suddenly ends, it's going to be because of the power. It sounds like it's slowing down, though, so I don't think that will be the case. But pick is in. For the commies. I hope New England does some weird shit. All right, Washington. What you got? What you got? Yes, it is. Emmanuel Forbes. You took a corner, but... Huh? He's not a bad player, don't get it twisted, but I wasn't expecting to see him until tomorrow. 6'1", 166 pounds. I think he's super underrated. Ran a 4.35 40, very long, very fast, really good ball skills. Definitely going to need to get bigger, good instincts, good route recognition, attacks on quick game throws, very good in zone. Despite lack of size, he's actually not bad in press man coverage, but I do prefer him in zone. A willing tackler, but obviously he's not going to be very strong. I've seen him as like a solid day 2 guy, but he is a starting corner. Taking him over Joey Porter and Christian Gonzalez, that's insane to me. Did they shoot somebody together? And not just anybody? Like, that, man. All right. That wasn't on my radar. I was not expecting that. I mean, he is a solid player. But, all right, Patriots didn't waste no time. Their pick is in. I hope that doesn't mean they went and either took Christian Gonzalez or Nolan Smith. That's weird to me. Yeah. Patriots pick is already in. We gonna... All right, Goodell's going right out there. Awesome. Appreciate that. Yep, there's Christian Gonzalez, New England. Damn it. Damn it, Washington. Are you sure you didn't have those picks, like, mixed up? All right, man. Explosive athlete, 6'2", 201 pounds. Great boundary guy, elite speed, fluid hips, very physical player that can get a little bit handsy at times. Technique is a little bit raw, but he has some solid instincts and shows flashes of ball skills. Good length and athleticism. I think he comes in as a solid corner with a very high ceiling. Pretty solid pick for New England here. And we really haven't had a single receiver yet. I know this class is filled with them, so I kind of expected teams to wait just because you can go get a guy later and have a pretty good receiver. But, man, that pisses me off. Damn it, Washington. I can't even make fun of the Patriots. That's a good pick. All right, Detroit. You have been drafting well lately, but tonight's pick was weird. Taking a running back that's Jahmyr Gibbs when you have Swift and Montgomery is weird to me. Now, if you had Bijan Robinson available, then that's different. That's very different. But could the Lions take quarterback here to develop like a Will Levis or Hendon Hooker under Jared Goff? And one of them will be available for Tampa at the very least. I don't assume the Buccaneers are planning on rolling with Baker Mayfield forever, but let's talk about Detroit right now. Is Detroit looking to trade this pick? Because the clock's running. It's a weird fucking decision. I don't know. That annoys me. I'm kind of pissed at Washington, man. Why would you take Forbes? You could have taken Christian Gonzalez, and then Patriots wouldn't have been able to. Now, I would have been upset with them taking Joey Porter as well. But I would have been a lot more upset. I would have been a lot less upset with Joey Porter. Shit. Detroit's got to be looking to trade this. Does Detroit have a new GM that doesn't know how to draft? Because, the last 2 years, they've been pretty good at it. And now they're trying to constantly trade back, and they draft Jahmyr Gibbs midway through the first round. Very strange. Yo, I haven't watched the Fast and Furious movie in a long time. I think the last one I watched was Fast 5. I have no idea what's going on anymore. I just seen a trailer for it. That's why I said that. That wasn't just random. Let me take a look at some of the other picks. Jalen Carter of the Eagles still pisses me off. It becomes very obvious to teams that don't know how to draft. All right. All right, pick is in for the Lions. I have no idea what the Lions should do. That threw me for a loop. I mean, they have their pick of receivers, and Jamison Williams is suspended for a year, I think, for gambling. I think it was a year, right? Pretty sure. Nolan Smith is still available. He's immediately better than Charles Harris. They have, Joey Porter Jr. still available. I think wide receiver or Joey Porter would make sense. Or DeJuan Jones always makes sense. Could always use O-line. But they don't really need that as much. But now, after Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not confident in the Lions making good decisions. So who knows? This could be quarterback as well. Develop a guy under Goff. That could make sense. Tampa should probably take a quarterback. Because it sounds like they don't like Kyle Trask. And Baker Mayfield obviously ain't the future. He's as much of a bridge quarterback as you can get. Who is that next to Will Levis? Is that his sister, girlfriend? Damn. I'm guessing sister. Kind of looks like him. All right, Detroit. You did some goofy shit earlier. What are you going to do now? You going to do more goofy shit, or are you going to remember how to draft? It was like, I'm not a Lions fan by any means, but I'd kind of like to see them do well. They've been bad for so long, and I like Dan Campbell. And honestly, I really felt like they were one really good draft from being a really solid team and taking over the NFC North. Because the NFC North is pretty whack. And drafting Jahmyr Gibbs when you already have Swift and Montgomery wasn't a great start. All right, here we go. Jack Campbell this early? All right, Lions forgot how to draft, man. Lions forgot how to draft. He's a decent player, but I was expecting to hear his name tomorrow. Linebacker from Iowa, 6'5", 246 pounds, physical guy, good strength. He doesn't really get people off him super well. Fills his gap pretty well. Good short area burst. Pretty reactive player. Reads his keys well. Decent in zone. Can cover some tight ends. I seen him as like a really solid second round player. I think he's going to have to learn to deal with trash a little bit better. I do like him. But if you were going to take a linebacker, he wouldn't have. I mean, Drew Sanders, I think, is clearly the better player. And I like Trenton Simpson a little more, too. I don't know. That's weird to me. That's weird to me. I haven't been marking my board, really. Still not a single receiver off the board. Which is interesting. So Jack Campbell just went off the board. Okay, just catching up. I'm trying to mark on my position rankings when people are off the board, so I can look at that later. Right now, it's kind of easy to remember, but by the time day 3 comes around, I think this will be helpful. All right, Tampa, I'll look at you. pull up the Seahawks depth chart real quick so I can have that ready. But first, Tampa. Could definitely go quarterback here, develop them for a year under Baker Mayfield / Kyle Trask. I hear Tampa doesn't like Kyle Trask too much, so I think that would make sense. Whoever you like between Will Levis or Hendon Hooker. Alternatively, offensive line makes sense. You have your pick at receiver. Corner, if you like. Oh, Joey Porter would be a very good fit. He'd be a very good scheme fit for them. Nolan Smith is also a very good scheme fit for Tampa. I don't know. Tampa usually drafts pretty well too, so. The commentators talking about them needing the 3 tag, but who the fuck are you going to get? Ryan Breezy? Even if they did that? Ugh. Elijah Kansas. I mean, there's your 3 tech. I think he's incredibly overrated. But that's just me. I had him marked as a 3rd round pick, to be honest with you. I think he is massively overrated. I didn't think he would go that late just because of how people were talking about him, and 3 tech is pretty rare. I had him as like a 3rd, 4th round guy. 6 foot, 280 pounds. Very explosive and very productive, which is great. Gets pushed around quite a bit. Good ball get off. Good motor. But I only really like him on passing downs. I don't think he's strong enough to really do much in the run at the NFL level. Changes directions pretty well. Like, he's pretty athletic and he's a pretty solid, pass rushing down 3 tech. But I think this is pretty high for him. I don't like the Aaron Donald comparison at all. At all. They're both 6'1" and from Pitt. But the film is not similar at all. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly, Mark. 34 and 48 for Detroit. You probably could have gotten Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs with those picks. Well, maybe not both of them. You could have gotten one of them, though. I don't think either of those would make it to 48. But yeah, I don't like that. This year is weird, man. Let me get the Chargers ready, and then I'll talk about Seattle. All right. Seattle. I mean, they got Devon Witherspoon earlier, which was weird. I think they still need offensive line. They could still use D-line pretty severely. They're a 3-4 now. I mean, Nolan Smith would make a lot of sense. They could use some receiver help, and they would have their pick of them. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then whoever their top receiver is, whether it be, Quentin Johnston, Jackson Smith and Jigba, whoever their top receiver is. That would help Geno Smith out a lot. Or you could draft a quarterback to develop under Geno Smith, maybe a Hendon Hooker. That's also an option. God, that's weird. Seattle's taking a minute, though. I always underestimate how bad some of these teams are at it. And it sucks because we're one of them. We're one of those teams that I'm talking about. But Devon Witherspoon's still weird. I mean, Devon Witherspoon and Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant makes for a very good young cornerback room for the future, which is kind of fun for Seattle. But it's just weird to me. I mean, Nolan Smith is right there. And you know what, though? If they take Nolan Smith here, Devon Witherspoon is a pretty good pick. If they can get both of them. But it looks like they're trying to trade it. I'll tell you what, Baltimore won't pass on Nolan Smith. If he gets to Baltimore, they won't pass on him. They know how to draft. Yeah, I love Tyreek Hill and Chubb. Of course. Yeah, they got to be trying to trade this. Yeah, NFC is pretty bad. I think Dallas is pretty good at drafting for the most part, but in Philly. But besides that, yeah, they do suck. And Seattle did have a good draft last year. But normally they're awful. But Green Bay, they're terrible. I was starting to give the Lions credit, but this year they've been terrible. I don't know, man. New Orleans is atrocious. Usually. I think a lot of teams are. I think the NFL is bad at drafting. Oh, I see what you mean. Regan, Chubb being our first rounders. Yeah, I mean, in fairness, the Dolphins can't draft, so I mean that's one way to make sure we don't miss. They must be trying to trade this, man. Ugh. Mel Kiper is suggesting Keon White, Mozzie Smith. Who was the other guy he just said? Whoa. I mean, that's a very Seahawks thing to do. But I wouldn't suggest that. I hate Mel Kiper. Here's my thing. Mel Kiper's only job is the draft. That's all he does, and he's terrible at it. If I didn't have to have a day job, I wasn't covering the Dolphins, my only job was watching film for the draft, I would be smoking this shit. And that's all he does is cover the draft, and he's terrible. Good God. All right, pick is in. That's the other thing that pisses me off in Seattle. They take forever because they're always trying to trade back. And it used to piss me off even more because they would spend all this time and then draft somebody whack anyway. Maybe they've returned to form. All right, pick is in. Let's go. Yo, we've already waited for the Seahawks long enough. Let's announce the pick. Damn it, you're bringing guests too. We've already waited long enough for the Seahawks pick. I don't care. Are one of those players getting drafted right now? Otherwise, I don't really want to hear it right now. All right, you going to announce the pick quickly or are you going to go for the speech? All right, bet. Appreciate that. All right, Jackson Jigba's not bad. That's not a bad pick. I did say take whoever their best receiver is. That's not a bad pick. That's not bad, Seattle. Devon Witherspoon, Jackson and Jigba ain't bad. Dude, DK Metcalf, Jackson and Jigba, and Tyler Lockett is a crazy receiving core. That's crazy. And reasonably so, Jackson and Jigba is a lot of people's number one receiver, and I can see why. He just isn't mine. I like Quentin Johnston a little bit more. And you can do just about anything with Jackson and Jigba. He's kind of a jack of all trades. I think that Quentin Johnston, Jackson and Jigba, and Zay Flowers, I think all three of them are so close that you can rank those three in any order, and I wouldn't be upset with you. Because they're all very different receivers. Did I say Jordan Addison? I meant Quentin Johnston. I do that a lot with those two for some reason. I don't know why I mix their names up. All right. Chargers are on the clock. Let me pull up the Ravens roster real quick, though. I can have them ready. All right. Chargers. Receiver, I mean, they pretty much still got all the receivers available. Edge is always a good thing. Bro. Nolan Smith, Joey Bosa, and Khalil Mack would be insane. Don't do that. Don't do that to me. Don't do that. Don't go to Baltimore either. But I don't think he survives both of them. I think he's going to one of them. I do. And he fits both of them too. But boy, if he can somehow slide past him and go to like Minnesota or something, that'd be great. Let's get out the AFC. Yeah, that's they have been drafting pretty well lately. Seattle was terrible at drafting for a while, but last year and then so far this year, they've been pretty solid. Yeah, I know. I know he didn't play a whole lot, but still in rotation, I still think he can be a solid piece. Why are the Chargers taking so long? Are they looking to trade? That would be nice. Maybe somebody wants Will Levis. Somebody trade up to get Nolan's, like Dallas or something. Come get him. Nope, pick is in. What other edge rushers could they have instead? Let me see. Take like B.J. Ojolari or something, or take Miles Murphy. That'd be funny. Well, Miles Murphy can kind of go here. I got a few edge rushers above him still, but yeah, take B.J. Ojolari. Don't take Nolan Smith. I don't want him on the Chargers. Or get like an O lineman or a receiver. Take a quarterback. That'd be funny. I mean, they won't, but I mean, they could use a receiver. I mean, Joshua Palmer, Jalen Guyton. You could use a receiver there. Not Zay Flowers. I don't want him to have Zay Flowers. I like him. You know, even though Quentin Johnston is I think is the best receiver, Zay Flowers I think is my favorite. That being said, I'll probably take him. Will Levis could go to Minnesota too. Have him sit under Kirk Cousins. Why I was blanking on his name for some fucking reason. I've been up for a while. I couldn't fall asleep last night, so if I'm not with it, don't mind me. All right, come on. You take my number one receiver. Okay. That doesn't hurt as bad, though. Quentin Johnston. Okay. He's going to be great for them, though. And it does immediately make them a better team. And Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Quentin Johnston is a crazy receiving core. It really is. Giving that to Justin Hurt. Oof. 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 Deals with press pretty well. 6'4", 215 pounds. Kind of like a Mike Williams. Good head fakes. Understands leverage. A willing blocker. Good contact balance. Has some strength. Has some physicality to him. Can actually do some jet sweeps and let him get big boy yak. For his size, he's a decent route runner, but he could stand to sink his hips a little bit more, but he is 6'4". Good burst. Great with slants. Some solid speed to him, good hands, a little bit of a body catcher, but I like him. I like him, and he is a good fit for the Chargers too. So I mean, it makes sense. Baltimore. I think they're going to take Nolan Smith and piss me off, like they do they always piss me off. Baltimore consistently takes some of my favorite players. It's what they do. They could also take Zay Flowers. Nolan Smith and Zay Flowers are two of my favorite players, and I think Baltimore's taken one of them. Let me get the Vikings ready. And also, shout out to the Ravens for getting the deal done with Lamar Jackson as well. Glad that got done. Lamar deserves it. But Rashad Bateman, who's pretty solid. Nelson Aguilar, who's very sometimesy. Devin Duvernay, same thing. Odell Beckham. Don't know what you're going to get from him. Don't trust him to really stay healthy. I'd probably go receiver. Zay Flowers would make a lot of sense. You know, it'd make me sick. But also, Nolan Smith is a fantastic player. Who would I rather get to Baltimore? I don't know. Shout out to J.J. Watt. I am curious to see what J.J. will do next. Now that he's retired. Baltimore still on the clock. Doesn't show that their pick is in yet. Let's see what Twitter's saying. Yeah, Lions did weird things this year. Yeah, Philly's D-line is insane. Dude, they pretty much just have a Georgia defense. Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Nakobe Dean makes me sick. Like I said earlier, the only good thing about that is I know when I watch Lombardi's stream, it's going to be hilarious when that comes up. Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, you're not wrong, Mark. Yo, Baltimore, make your pick. Make your pick. I'm trying to get through these picks, man. I got to work in the morning. Yeah, shout out to Lamar Jackson. He didn't exactly get what he wanted, but, I mean, at least he's on the books. Moving forward with the Ravens, I guess. Shout out to him. All right, Baltimore. Pick is in. Let's go. Receiver would be the position in need, but Baltimore also goes BPA a lot, and to me, that would be Nolan Smith by a landslide. Let me look at my big board. Yeah, Nolan Smith is my number 6 guy. Yeah, you ain't wrong. We might as well start. That might be like an extra nickname for Philly. But shout out to them for drafting well. Philly's the only team that like drafts well, does trades well, and does free agents. Oh, Kansas City too. Kansas City too. They do well with all phases of player acquisition. Like Baltimore and Dallas, they both draft well, but they don't really do free agents and trades very well. Miami and the Rams trade and do free agent well, but they can't draft. Shit like that. Yeah, there's Zay Flowers. Yeah, Baltimore could draft. Well, Zay Flowers is a fantastic prospect. My favorite receiver in this draft. 5'9", 172 pounds, small guy. Fantastic yak receiver that play in the slot. Will stop and go. Absolutely explosive athlete. Will make you miss an open space. Pretty small though. Great ball skills. Changes directions at an elite level. Can absolutely give him snaps at running back and do a bunch of gadget stuff with him. Very, very fun player. Very competitive. Has a couple issues with drops, mostly focus drops, trying to turn and run with the ball before he secures the catch, that type of thing. But I like him a lot. He is my favorite receiver in this class. The Ravens, like I said, they have a high tendency of drafting one of my favorite players, usually multiple in the same year. And if you want to think about it, David Ojabo really didn't get a chance to play for them last year because of his injury. He's basically an extra first-round pick for them. And I love David Ojabo last year coming out of Michigan. All right, Minnesota. I guess I can talk about you now. Quarterback could be interesting. Developing like a Will Levis or Hendon Hooker under Kirk Cousins. They can't go running back. They could go receiver. I mean, they got rid of Adam Thielen. Yeah, I'd go. Oh. I wouldn't go like Addison, Hyatt, or Mingo or anybody like that here, though. Offensive line? Honestly, I think I would go corner. Actually, this would be a really good spot for Nolan Smith. They could use edge. They look like they're going toward a 3-4. I would either go Nolan Smith or I'd go corner. Either Nolan Smith or Joey Porter. That'd be my move. And let me pull up Jacksonville in the meantime. Let's see. Clock is still running. Let's make the pick now, Minnesota, please. I'd like to get this shit moving. No, let's go. Minnesota. Let's make the pick already. Shout out to Zay Flowers, though. He's gonna do great things in Baltimore, and that's a lot of speed on that offense. Let's go. Happy for Zay Flowers. Baltimore is always in our way. DeJuan Jones is still my number one tackle. He's still available. I like him better than everybody. Beyond that, Anton Harrison, Cody Marsh. That's about it. That's about it. Tackles running out fast. Actually, Olu Fashanu as well from Penn State. I think that's how you pronounce it. He's okay too. But DeJuan Jones is the last really good one. There's some guards and stuff available, like Steve Avila. There's guys like Joe Tippmann, Juice Scruggs from Penn State. There's John Michael Smits, the center from Minnesota, who could play guard. Nolan Smith or Joey Porter, like I said, would make a lot of sense for Minnesota, but it looks like they're trying to trade this pick. They're taking forever. That would be my bet. Unless they want to go quarterback, that would also make sense. They want to go either Hendon Hooker or Will Levis, depending on their preference. But beyond that, I would patch up that defense because Minnesota's defense was horrible last year, and they need corner and edge pretty bad. And Nolan Smith and Joey Porter, great. You got Deonte Banks. You also have my man from Georgia. Why am I blanking on him? Khalil Ringo. There's plenty of corners. Yo, Minnesota, let's go already. All right, pick is in. Let's go. Yo, fuck who? All the tight ends are still available, too. That could be good for Miami. None of the tight ends have been taken. We could use one of those. I don't want Dalton Kincaid, though. He's not a bad player, just not for the Dolphins. All right, come on. Let's announce this pick already, and let's move on. I'd like to talk about Jacksonville now. Again, it's got to be a quarterback or defense. And the best two defenders available are, like I said, Joey Porter or Nolan Smith. And they need edge and corner, and they both fit what they do. But again, if you want to take a quarterback to develop under Kirk Cousins, that also makes sense. You do have all the receivers, and you did get rid of Adam Thielen, but I wouldn't take Addison here. Hyatt, any of those guys. Yeah, there's Jordan Addison. I don't love the pick. Not with who else is available, but he's a good player. More of a slot guy. Pretty skinny, 6 foot, 175 pounds. Pretty quick feet, shifty yak guy, explosive athlete. Definitely keep him in the slot. Some pretty smooth route running to him. Can stop and go on a dime. Will create separation. Good hands. Not a very physical guy. Just get him the ball in open space and let good things happen. I like him a lot, and I do see him as a first-round talent, maybe second. But it's just they really need corner and edge, and Nolan Smith and Joey Porter are staring me in the face, and I just think they are far better players. So, I don't know. You know, an interesting one will be Kayshon Boutte because he's a fantastically talented player, but the off-the-field concerns are fucking insane. I don't want him. Like, at all. So there's my top 4 receivers off the board. Almost in order. Just flipped Quentin Johnston, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. But like I said, I think Quentin Johnston, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, and Zay Flowers, I think they're all pretty much as good as each other. It just depends on what you're looking for in a player. I think Quentin Johnston is your better 6'4", big body guy. Jackson Smith and Jigba is kind of a jack of all trades, and Zay Flowers is your quick, shifty guy. So it just kind of depends on what you want. Jordan Addison, I think, is a step below those guys, but I think he is still a solid player. I just, again, think that Joey Porter and Nolan Smith are just far superior players. How did the Giants get ahead of the Jaguars? They must have just made a trade. Okay. They could use receiver. I mean, we just watched some receivers go off the board. I mean, I joked about them taking Jalen Hyatt. I mean, that was my mock draft. I could see the Giants do goofy shit. I could see them having Paris Campbell and still drafting almost the same player in Jalen Hyatt. Yeah. I mean, all the tight ends are still available. Not for the Giants, though. They got Darren Waller. But yeah, for Miami, that it is interesting. Depending on price, I wouldn't hate it. I love DeJuan Jones. They got 2 good Giants have 2 good tackles, and Andrew Thomas and Evan Neal. So I don't think they'll do it. They could go corner. Yeah, they should definitely go corner. Joey Porter staring them in the face. Yeah, and the Jaguars could use one too, so it would make sense to jump ahead of them. I think the Giants should either go corner or wide receiver. But I don't think any of the receivers are really worth taking here. But I did mock them taking Jalen Hyatt just because I think it's a very Giants thing to do. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I had a comment saying that there was no shot Seattle takes a corner with their the first pick they had. I'm glad I was right. It was the wrong corner. I had them picking Christian Gonzalez, not Devon Witherspoon. But, I mean, I was kind of close. Glad to see I was correct about that. Pick is in for the Giants. That'd be pretty crazy. I mean, depending on price, I'd be down. So the Jaguars slide back one pick and pick up a 5th and a 7th. That's a fantastic pick. That's a fantastic thing for the Jags. I mean, they probably lose Joey Porter here. I assume that's what the Giants are doing. It's got to be Joey. That's a great move for Jacksonville, though. You get 2 picks and only slide back 1. They must not really wanted Joey Porter. Because I assume that's what Jacksonville is doing. I mean, the Giants. Yo, let's announce the pick already, though. Pick is in. Let's go. Who we got? Just say Joey Porter already. We know. Well, I guess it's not a given with the Giants. They do goofy shit. Deonte Banks. Jacksonville. If you trade back one spot, pick up 2 picks, and still get Joey Porter. Do it, Jacksonville, for the memes. But Deonte Banks is a good player, too. Don't get it twisted. He is. Very, very explosive athlete. Kind of more of a raw player. But very, very athletic. 6'2", 205 pounds. Great blend of size, strength, and athleticism. Good in press. Smooth hips and feet. Route anticipation and instincts, I think, could improve a little bit. Very much a traits guy. And one thing, too, is he tends to panic a little bit when the ball's behind him in the air. So I want to see him kind of improve in that area. But very, very good athletically. That is a very Giants thing to do, though. Come on, Jacksonville. Bring it home. No, Buffalo. Buffalo just traded. No. Damn it, Buffalo. What are you doing? No. Take Joey Porter. Please take Joey Porter. Not Nolan Smith. They jumped ahead of Dallas specifically. What did you just do? Take Joey Porter. Well, they could be jumping ahead of Dallas for that reason too. Dallas could use a corner. But they did pick up Stephon Gilmore. Whew. Just not Nolan Smith. You got Russo, Von Miller, Boogie Basham. You don't need him. You do not need him, Buffalo. You don't need him. Darnell Washington has better hands than Austin Jackson for sure. That's not even a joke. I would really love Darnell Washington on this team. He'd be such a good fit for us. But yeah, I definitely think we can get a good tight end. I think that's a given at this point. Even if Darnell Washington's gone by then, we can get somebody. All right, pick is in for the Bills. Don't hurt me. I wonder what Jacksonville got from the Bills. They just keep trading back slightly. I mean, the Jaguars need, more picks, so I guess that makes sense. And they're not moving back too far, so. All right, pick is in. Buffalo, don't hurt me. Do something weird. I hope Jacksonville at least made Buffalo hurt with that trade. They had to give up Von Miller for that, right? Something. Maybe Stephon Diggs. I don't think Jacksonville goes tight end. They've got Evan Ingram. Buffalo just paid Dawson Knox, so they definitely ain't. Yo, I don't give a shit what's going on with Will Levis right now. I don't mean to be rude, but the Bills are scaring me. And I need to know how bad this is. Because the Bills typically know how to draft. And, Joey Porter, Nolan Smith, they're both sitting right here, and they jumped ahead of Dallas, who also knows how to draft. Why did they jump ahead of Dallas? And Dallas could use edge or corner. But either way, Dallas could use a tight end too. They might take Darnell Washington. I know they like him. Fuck, dude. Announce the pick already. Fuck Mel Kiper's opinion on Aaron Rodgers. Why don't we get Ja Rule's opinion on Aaron Rodgers too? That's about how much I care about Mel Kiper's opinion. All right. All right. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Dalton Kincaid. Okay. All right. Don't worry about it. Okay. He's not a bad player, but that doesn't scare me. I did not think they would take a tight end. And the fact that they took a tight end that I don't want is nice. He just doesn't fit what the Dolphins do. So he's 6'4", 240 pounds. Very athletic tight end. Very good pass catching guy. Pretty good route running for his size. Good athleticism, good speed to make mismatches, good ball skills, very good with contested catches. He is going to be a problem for us. Not super strong and not a good blocker. He's mostly just going to be a big receiver that they can use against us. But he isn't really what I want in a tight end for Miami because we need a guy that can block. I mean, that's why we got rid of Mike Gesicki. So I'm not really too upset about that. And that could have been a lot worse. And it makes sense. Dallas is looking for a tight end, supposedly. So if they really like Dalton Kincaid, it makes sense that they would jump ahead of him. I had Dalton Kincaid as like a late second, early third round guy, though. Well, more mid second, really. All right, I ain't too upset about that one. But Dalton Kincaid going over Darnell Washington and Michael Mayer is interesting. Oh, okay. Dallas. So they could use edge. Nolan Smith is still there. They could use corner. Joey Porter is still there. Darnell Washington's still there. I mean, they got a lot of really talented players at positions of need. I don't know. They have 3 needs and 3 really good players at those positions of need. I know they supposedly like Steve Avila too, the guard. And they do need a guard. So that could be a move. I think it'd be a little early for him. But we'll see. All right, man. Let's I mean, Dallas has got a little bit to think about. I don't know if they were anticipating Darnell Washington, Joey Porter Jr., Nolan Smith. I don't know if they were anticipating all these people being available. I wasn't. I don't think Michael Mayer's Jason Witten comp is a great one. He's a good blocker, but I don't think he's Jason Witten. He's a good player, though. That's not necessarily who Dallas took. They haven't announced it. The pick ain't even in yet. Are they looking to trade this? I wonder if they see a bunch of people. Yeah, he is kind of like Gesicki a little bit. He's a little bit more athletic, though. And not as strong. Because Gesicki had some strength as far as yak ability goes. Kincaid's really not all that strong. In comparison to his size, anyway. But he can make some mismatches, and he is a good player. I just didn't expect them to take a tight end after just paying Dalton Knox. I assume that means that they're going to do more 2 tight end sets then. Damn, Dallas. Dallas is happy with whatever they just did, whether they made a good trade or they picked somebody. All right, pick is in. Dallas is happy about it. What we got? Let's go. Dallas could go a lot of directions here. Let me pull up Jacksonville in the meantime, too, even though I've been talking about them for a while. I swear if the Jaguars trade back one more time, I'd be upset. Just make your fucking pick. But, dude, Jacksonville could have traded back twice and still get Joey Porter. Potentially. If Dallas doesn't take him. I do agree. And I would like to get another big bot. Well, that's why I'd like another tight end. If we get like Darnell Washington, I think it'll help. I think we'll be okay. But I don't know if he'll be available. And I don't necessarily want to lock into getting tight end with our first pick. I want to see what's available. Because all the guards are still available too. And as much as I like Darnell Washington, you know I'm a line guy. If Steve Avila's there, I'm running to the podium. All right, man. I don't like how slow some of these teams are. I mean, I get it. They got to make the decision, the right call, but all right. Mozzie Smith? That's going to be sick. That's hilarious. Mozzie Smith is a pretty okay one tech that I had as like a third or fourth round pick. That's about all I have to say about him. Is he's a pretty cool one tech. That's my analysis. He's a pretty cool one tech that can give you a little bit more pass rush than most one techs. That's it. He eats up blocks decently. All right, cool. Joey Porter is still sitting there. Gesicki, yeah, he was. But yeah, Jacksonville really needs a corner. Joey Porter is still sitting right there after trading back twice. I gotta look at Twitter. All right, don't worry about it. I'll look at it later. Man, I've been talking about Jacksonville too long, man. Let's get the Jaguars pick over with, bro. I guess I could talk about the Bengals a little bit. They're after Jacksonville. I don't think Mozzie Smith is going to get very many sacks. He's more of a one-tech. He's going to eat up blocks. And I think they're probably going to take him off the field on passing downs most of the time. I would. It's pretty rough. Ugh. He might accidentally stumble into a couple. And, you know, Dan Quinn is Dan Quinn, so, I mean, he might be able to figure something out. That's rough. All right, pick is in for Jacksonville. They're finally drafting somebody. That's nice. Pick is in. Pick is in. Yeah, they still need O-line. Bengals do. Irv Smith is a tight end. That's not bad. Bengals could probably go tight end here. I don't know how they feel about Jonah Williams. Steve Avila could make sense here. Receiver? Not really. Maybe they get like a Jalen Hyatt. I mean, if there's an edge they like BJ Ojolari or something. I mean, Joey Porter, if he's still there after Jacksonville. You can always use corner. Or even Khalil Ringo. I like him too. All right, bet. Let's get to Jacksonville. I want to wrap this day one up. I got to work in the morning. I'm not going to be hanging out too long after the first round's over. I will be back tomorrow and Saturday. I actually had some fun doing this. It's been fun, even though we don't have a pick, so I don't have a huge vested interest, but I like these players. This chair is super uncomfortable, though. Definitely got to upgrade this chair. I had a gamer chair, but it broke. I have this shitty-ass office chair. All right, man. Let's announce the pick already. Let's go. Jackson. I've been talking about the Jaguars too long. But it will be kind of... all that to draft Anton Harrison? That's kind of weird to me. But do your thing. I think it's a little early. People are really not fucking with Joey Porter? All right, so he's 6'5", 315 pounds from Oklahoma. Climbs well. Doesn't settle for bad hand placement. Will fight to get him back inside. Can move quickly when he wants to. Needs to finish more consistently, though, and can get a little bit lazy off his blocks. Not a very angry player. Does have some patience to him. Decent feet when he wants to. Has some pretty long arms. Deals with length pretty well. Hands are pretty solid, like I said. Has some pretty decent physical gifts. I had him more as a day 2 pick. Like I said, he's a little bit lazy. So that kind of throws me off with him. But, you know, Tackles are pretty much wiped out for me, just about. Cody Mauch is still out there. Anton Harrison has played left and right tackle before, so that's a bonus. You do have Olu Fashanu from Penn State. Yeah, and Cody Mauch. I still don't know how to say that, the tackle from North Dakota State. The Saints are at 30 because of a trade. That was once that pick has changed hands a lot. It was once ours as well. That pick was the one we got from the Niners that we then traded to Denver for Chubb, and then Denver traded it to New Orleans for something. I forget what they traded it to them for. So that would be the Niners pick. I forgot Philly still has another pick. They can still get Nolan Smith. Somebody take him. You can't let them have another Georgia player. That'll piss me off. All right, Bengals pick is in. That's a bad pick. I don't like Myles Murphy. I have him as like a third, almost fourth round talent. Effort questions, big time. Does squeeze and set the edge well when he wants to. That's the big thing, is when he wants to. Decent ball get off, has some patience sometimes, plays with some control, keeps his hand. You want to keep his hand in the dirt, keep him as a defensive end. Can swipe hands down when he's blocked. He's blocked. He doesn't really have much of a plan. Runs down the middle of people. Hand placement is bad. Does have some strength to him. Doesn't turn well. Plays really tight. Just relies on strength. Has no tool bag at all. Doesn't rush with a plan. He's athletic and big, long. It's all upside with him, but right now he's a very, very raw prospect, and I'm not a big fan. I am not a big fan of Myles Murphy at all. That's a bad pick. I think he's one of the most overrated players in this in this draft. He is my number 10 edge rusher. They said they don't have an issue with his motor. You didn't watch film. That's one of them just said. Yo, New Orleans has to take Nolan Smith. I don't care if they need him or not. He's going to end up in Philly. And it's going to happen. Bro, Carl Granderson, you gotta. He doesn't even really fit New Orleans, though. Damn. And New Orleans can't draft. They really need tight end. They could go O-line too. They need defensive line. Oh, Brian Breezy, this would be a decent spot for him. But the Saints will probably do something weird if they don't trade it. Come on, New Orleans. At least don't let either trade it or make the pick, man. Come on. This could be Darnell Washington here if New Orleans does the right thing. Could also be receiver. They really need receiver as well. Michael Thomas can't be counted on to stay healthy. Chris Olave is really good, but after that, the receiving core is pretty whack. You can try to help out Derek Carr with some weapons. The tight end, again, would be a good choice. Running back's good. Alvin Kamara, Jamal Williams is really solid 1-2 punch. Dwayne Washington's fine. Let's go. Is this pick going to get traded again? Because like I said, this was – all right, the pick is in. What are the Saints going to do? Please take Nolan Smith just to keep him away from Philly. I'd rather them take Joey Porter than Nolan Smith. Yo, Kansas City could have. Oh. You know, Kansas City lost McCall Hardman. They don't have Hill anymore. Jalen Hyatt would be a good pick, good fit for him. Get some speed back in Kansas City. That could be a good fit for them, actually. And this would be about right for Jalen Hyatt. But first, we got to get through New Orleans and Philly. Can we speed this up a little bit, though? Tomorrow, I don't care. Well, I don't really care for the pageantry then either, but I got to work this weekend. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. What kind of goofy shit you about to do, New Orleans? I know it's going to be something stupid, most likely. Okay, that's not that bad. That's not that bad. Brian Breezy. Clemson defensive lineman. This guy is very interesting. He had a knee injury that completely changed the way he plays. Before the knee injury, he was a very explosive, slashy 3-tech that would have been like a top 10 pick in this draft, most likely. But then after the injury, he lost a lot of that explosiveness. Hopefully he can get that back. 6'5", just under 300 pounds. But even if he remains the player he was last year after the injury, he's still a guy that plays a lot of control, is very strong, very good with his hands, and would be a really good 3-4 defensive end. But if he can get any of that athleticism back, he can be a real terror and could be one of the best players in this draft. So, yeah. And there's always the risk of re-injury when you're drafting a player with injury history. All right, let me get the Chiefs and Eagles depth charts ready to go. I mean, Philly's going to do it. They could use some edge rusher. Brandon Graham and Josh Sweat, they could definitely upgrade those positions. Nolan Smith is staring them in the face. I mean, in fairness, they could also probably – I mean, James Brad. They got Greedy Williams? They really don't need corner. James Bradbury, Darius Slay, Greedy Williams, Vontae Maddox. Yeah, they don't really need corner. Yeah, I don't know what else they would take. They could go receiver. They could definitely go receiver. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and then after that, it kind of falls off a little bit. Quez Watkins, Zach, I can't pronounce that, but the dude from Atlanta, from the Falcons, he's pretty solid. But I can never pronounce his name, but he's a good player. I mean, yeah, this could be safety. You're not wrong. This could be Brian Branch. I'm not particularly high on the safeties in this class, but yeah, this could be Brian Branch as well, and that wouldn't upset me. Pittsburgh has 32. How did Pittsburgh get to the first pick of the second? I don't know. All right, come on, man. Was that the Chase Claypool trade? Because it would have been the Bears initially, right? It better not be. If you gave up 32 for fucking Chase Claypool, bro. Bears suck. Philly, if you want to trade this pick, I wouldn't be upset. Miami, if you want to trade up to go get DeJuan Jones, I also wouldn't be upset. Because don't trade up and do some goofy shit, but because the Dolphins are also very capable of that. Philly's taking a while. They must be talking to somebody. No, pick is in for Philly. It's gonna be Nolan Smith. I just know it. Just make the all. You know what? Just make it the Philly Bulldogs, right? It could be tight end. It could be Darnell Washington and also go, Georgia Bulldogs. Or Philly Bulldogs, rather. I know they got Dallas Goedert, but I have a tight end behind him. I got no idea. Philly can do whatever. Ain't no running backs to take here. Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan are gone. Let's announce the pick already, bro. The Eagles are about to break my heart. Just announce it already. They've already done it once tonight. All right, come on. That's nice. That's nice that the Kelsey brothers' mom is here, but let's. Oh no, they're gonna give a speech. I like Dude Perfect, but no questions. Damn it. Who cares? This is cringy. Who cares? Shut up. I hate it here. I hate it here. I fucking hate Philly. I hate Philly. Fuck this draft. I'm gonna move on to Kansas City because I don't even want to talk about this. I ain't gonna hold you. Receiver probably. They could go O-line. I mean, they do have Kadarius Toney. I still think they need to go receiver, though. I mean, Marquez, Valdez-Scantling, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Richie James. I'd probably go receiver. Whoever they think their number one guy is at this point. Hyatt, Mingo, Downs, whoever they like. Cedric Tillman. Tank Dell if they like Tank Dell in that way. That's about it. I wouldn't even consider anybody else. I like Rashee Rice, but not here. This could also be DeJuan Jones. They could use a right tackle over Lucas Niang. This is some bullshit. All right, Kansas City. Let's. I mean, they just won the Super Bowl, so they're gonna make this a whole thing. So at least put the pick in already. It should be receiver. Corner could make some sense too. Trent McDuffie pairing him with Trent McDuffie and Joey Porter would be a nice young pair of corners. That'd be kind of scary. Yeah, that'd probably be the better pick over any of the receivers, but I mean they do need receiver help. Yo. Could be like a BJ Ojolari as well. That's about the only edge rusher I would be willing to maybe take here. Yeah, I'd probably go BJ Ojolari, DeJuan Jones, Joey Porter, or whoever their top receiver is at this point. If they would ever put their pick in. I don't think so at this point. And he'll get bigger at the NFL level, but I think it's fine. Especially because Philly will probably use him, right? And you've got some big ass defensive tackles to eat up blocks. I think it's fine. Nolan Smith is a monster. And he might be kind of small, but he's strong as shit. All right, pick is in for Kansas City. They're going to do a bunch of pageantry because they won the Super Bowl, which is fair. But all right, man. Jalen Phillips is 270. I mean, he might be now, but he wasn't when we drafted him. He was small as shit when we drafted him, too. He was like 245. Jalen? Is he 270 now? That'd be kind of crazy. But either way, he's supposed to be more of like a 3-4 outside linebacker. It is kind of a weird fit for Philly. They do more 4-3 things, but I'm sure they can figure something out. But plus, he plays way bigger than he is. And he's more technically sound than almost everyone in this class besides Will Anderson. And he can cover. You can even slide him back to linebacker for some snaps. You can kind of use him like a Micah Parsons a little bit. But even still, I mean, Will McDonald is small too. He's like 245. Let me see something. I'm not really too worried about his size. If this was like a couple decades ago, I might be a little concerned, but I'm not really too worried about it. Copy. Hopefully my stream's okay. All right. Yeah, I mean the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and they're in Kansas City for this draft, so it's gonna be some shit. Don't give a whole speech, please. I bet. Okay. I can live with that. Technically a little early for him, but I mean, I had him more as a second round, so it's not really too bad. I can't pronounce it. Felix Anuduke. I don't know. Kansas State. 6'3", 255 pounds, plays a lot of urgency. Very violent player, good strength, long frame. I think as a run defender, I think he needs a lot of work. I think he needs to play with some more control, kind of a raw player in general. He does rush with a plan, though. A solid bull rush, heavy hands, powerful hips. Not super bendy. I seen him as like a solid day two guy. It's a little early, but decent pick. I would have taken BJ Ojolari over him, and Joey Porter being here is insane to me. But yeah, I'm not going to stick around too long. Let me just mark that that's who got drafted real quick. Because like I said, I do have work in the morning. But I will be back tomorrow. And and I'll be here Saturday as well. And we actually have picks, which will be nice. So yeah. Anyway, if you like this, once this becomes a video, I'd appreciate hitting that like button if you haven't already. If you have any questions or comments in the comments down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.